Lighthouse never lit, but it still guided ships through the fog. This is the story of the Blackthorn Light, standing like a silent sentinel on the jagged cliffs of Cornwall, England. For 30 long years, its lamp remained unlit, its tower cloaked in shadow. And yet, sailors, seasoned men who knew the sea's treachery, swore they saw its beam cutting through the mist. A light that shouldn't exist, a light that defied reason. Here's the thing: lighthouses don't just stop working. They're built to endure, to stand firm against gales and salt spray. But Blackthorn's great glass lens was shattered, a spiderweb of cracks catching the weak English sun. Its oil reservoirs were dry as dust, its keeper gone without a trace. And still, ships changed course in the dead of night, veering smoothly away from submerged rocks they couldn't possibly see, as if something or someone was guiding them. In the damp autumn of 1982, a historian named Elea Voss arrived at Blackthorn. She'd heard the local whispers, the fisherman's tales. In a back room of a crumbling cottage, she discovered a sea chest, its wood soft with rot, its iron hinges weeping rust. Inside, wrapped in oilcloth, was the keeper's journal. The last entry was dated October 12th, 1891. Just 3 words stood out, written in a shaky, desperate hand: "I have promised." The pages before told a strange and sorrowful tale. Keeper Thomas Hargreaves had been a quiet, steady man, but after his young wife perished in childbirth, his grief poured out not in tears, but in words spoken to the sea, not to himself, to the sea. He'd stand for hours on the wet, black rocks at dusk, his coat whipped by the wind, whispering secrets into the crashing waves. The locals called him mad. They crossed themselves when he passed. Then, the great storms came. One violent night, a gale tore through the coast with the fury of a dying beast. Waves taller than the lighthouse itself smashed against the cliffs, shaking the very foundations. Hargreaves fought to light the lamp, his hands raw and trembling, but the howling wind snuffed it out again and again. In the roaring dark, he felt a profound despair, and then he heard it. A voice rising from the churning water, not human, not animal, a sound like ancient stones grinding deep beneath the earth, yet forming words that chilled his soul. "You want your light to burn. Make your bargain." Hargreaves didn't hesitate. His love for the sailors, his duty, his grief, it all converged in that one moment. He stumbled to his journal and wrote, the ink blurring with spray, "I will keep the light after I'm gone. In return, no ship will wreck here again." The next morning, the storm had vanished. The sea was calm, the lamp was cold and dark, but the ships kept coming, and they always turned smoothly, mysteriously away from the deadly rocks, as if guided by an unseen hand. For weeks, Hargreaves continued his solitary work, but a deep stillness had settled over him. Then, one evening, he didn't come down from the tower. When worried villagers finally forced the door, they found him. His body was curled around the cold brass lamp, as if embracing it. His face was peaceful, almost smiling. And his fingers, when they touched them, were still faintly warm. After that, the physical light stayed dark forever, but the ships kept sailing safely past the cove. This continued for decades, a quiet legend until 1983, when a pragmatic night watchman named Daniel Price took the job. He didn't believe in ghosts, but he respected the sea, and he needed the work. His first night on duty, Price heard a low, mournful creak from high up in the stone tower. Heart-thumping, he grabbed his heavy torch and climbed the spiral stairs, each step echoing in the hollow silence. The great lamp was still there, rusted dead, a monument to abandonment. Then he saw it a flicker, not from the lamp, from the air itself, right in front of the broken lens, a pale, shimmering glow pulsing softly like a heartbeat. It coalesced, strengthened, and then shot out over the black water, a solid beam of light where there should have been none. Price ran to the cliff's edge, the cold wind tearing at his clothes. Below, A small fishing boat was drifting perilously close to the razor-sharp rocks. The unearthly glow above him brightened intensely. And then, impossibly, the boat turned sharply, as if pulled by an invisible rope, clearing the danger with feet to spare. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the light vanished, leaving only the sound of the waves and the pounding of his own heart. The next morning, shaken to his core, Price sought out the journal Eleanor Voss had found. He read Hargreaves' final, desperate words, "I have promised," and in that moment, he understood. The lighthouse wasn't broken. It was waiting, fulfilling a pact made between a heartbroken man and the deep. Today, Blackthorn Light is a picturesque ruin. Tourists climb the path to take photos of its crumbling stones against the dramatic sky. But if you look closely, you'll see that local fishermen still leave small offerings at the base of the tower. A worn coin pressed into a crevice, a bottle of good rum, a fresh-cut flower, a silent thank you to the keeper who never left his post, who continues his vigil from beyond the veil. The lighthouse never lit, but its light still burns, and if you stand on those windswept cliffs at the stroke of midnight, when the world is all but silent, you might just see it too. A ghostly beam, cutting through the fog. A promise kept, long after the keeper was gone. Hit subscribe if you want more nighttime chills.